Hello and welcome back to the another episode of TheFalse9Podcast. Welcome back, boys. Good to see you after so long. Actually, sorry, we have been extremely busy in our personal lives, but we will be consistent after this for sure. So, we all have seen the photos, we all have seen the news. Many channels they have covered the nitty-gritties, the pros and cons. We will not cover that. We'll just talk about what we feel, what we think as an emotion, and as an e-read. Are you aware of the term called e-read?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
what is it?
pe-
What is the E-Red?
yeah, so people who don't know, people who support Manchester United but do not stay in England or who are not local,
Acha.
Don't
they are
necessarily visit also.
yeah,
Okay.
they
Yeah.
don't go to the stadium for every match day, etc., etc.
Hmm.
Those are called e-reds, and for those local lads, Britishers, um, they know better than us because they are there and they passionately support Manchester United than we do. Um, I understand geographical location wise problem हो सकता है, but सपोर्ट तो उतना ही है जितना उन लोग
Yeah.
कर रहे हैं.
It's just
उसमें
that they
कुछ
Hmm.
कमी
pay.
नहीं है.
They pay much more to
Yeah,
support than
and
us.
I
भाई
the
we also
term
pay
is
via merchandise, okay?
yeah.
हम लोग भी कम नहीं है भाई.
नहीं नहीं,
तो
मैं
and
देता ही नहीं हूँ.
ग्लेजर्स को पैसा दे रहे हैं, पकड़ा गया.
नहीं देता हूँ
but
मैं.
but but jokes
First
apart,
copy लेते अपन.
yeah, the term e-read is extremely bullshit for me. But yeah, I just wanted to say it out. The concept of the new Old Trafford is not what I have visualized or not what I have imagined. It is extremely different from what the current newly made stadiums look like. And I am impressed. I'm impressed. First thoughts. And before we move ahead, if you are coming here for the first time, please like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, for me, it was a design which I had not expected at all. ठीक है.
Hmm.
मतलब I think a lot of us was so riled up probably in that argument कि Old Trafford रहना चाहिए नहीं रहना चाहिए. That was also kind of playing in mind. But and I feel, why it also comes out of the blue is because we were somewhere expecting कि वही bowl shape का कुछ नया ऐसा बना देंगे. It will be like a very generic sort of a design, which
Hmm.
it is internally. But if you go to see the entire design concept, it is like the symbolism is there, like with the masks, and of course we'll discuss on that later. But I think I was surprised, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I am excited. I think it was
Me too.
there should have been a proper statement for us to put forward. Okay, bhai, we are moving and we are moving in a good direction, and I think this stadium does that justice.
Yeah. I think like Y and I have obviously done this conversation on the channel before on how it
Mm,
is sort of
Hmm.
a bittersweet feeling that
yeah.
Old Trafford nahi rahega and you'll have a new
Mm,
stadium. But it is also part of the reality that we need a new stadium, unfortunately. यानी ये point तक आना ही नहीं चाहिए था जहाँ ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड को हटाने की बात हो रही है, but now we are here,
mm,
so it is like कर रहे हैं. But definitely the design is exciting, it is quite bold, it is also divisive. If you notice, a lot of
yeah.
people will not end up liking it, but I
Mm,
think in a way like that is a good thing because वो iconic है. The fact that
mm,
it is divisive is कि it is standing out, because if you look at Alliance Arena, if you look at Bernabeu, all of them have that toilet seat shape, and the
mm,
new Old Trafford design also has that seat shape, but
mm,
they have sort of supplemented it with that whole uh, whatever net or enclosure that they are calling it, which will have solar panels and whatnot. So it's quite iconic, and they are kind of looking at how what Eiffel Tower represents for Paris. This is Radcliffe talked about it, that Eiffel Tower, तुम Paris में जहाँ पे भी हो, you can look towards it and you'll know that वहाँ पे Eiffel Tower. It's very iconic, and that is the sort of thing they are trying to replicate, which is cool. And apart from the just the stadium design, I think the overall idea of having this large open area bahar, community center, fan area, they are talking about वो लोग वहाँ पे एक sort of screening area बड़ा बनाएंगे where fans can come and watch away matches.
Hmm.
So although all those things are quite cool, but then again, I come back to that whole bittersweet feeling that
Hmm.
you don't also want to let go of Old Trafford, right? That is also part. Our heart is there, so yeah.
I will say this though. Okay, I am, of course, Old Trafford stands for everything that United has been over the years, and probably I will differ thoda bahut. Okay, uh, here I feel. See, now it's a situation that we inherited where Old Trafford was neglected. Okay,
Hmm.
Glazers did not invest, and ultimately, even I see a few arguments flying around saying that even the government did not do much. So ultimately, Old Trafford was just left to ruins in a sense. But I I think it was needed for us to kind of upgrade to a new stadium because that is a sign of progress. Why?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because when I look at other clubs, Arsenal, Tottenham, TK, they've all moved. West
Hmm.
Ham, especially the London clubs for that matter, they have changed their addresses. I think we are lucky enough to have not, been in a position where we have to drastically change the address. I think that is one good thing, and उसमें भी हमको एक नया world class stadium मिलेगा. I was against this entire Old Trafford refurbishment thing. I would have probably wanted Old Trafford to stay, but मैं, if I had to choose, I think I would have still gone and opted for a new brand new stadium rather than Old Trafford because I think this is the time to show that and rekindle that emotion in you that you really need to now reach on top of the league and on top of the world, and this is the starting point because अगर इधर ambition कम किया तो फिर वो कहीं ना कहीं वो trickle down होते रहेगा. So I think
and
I
and
am very much happy.
and that is a good thing because like ye log, there is a new management which is coming, so this
Yeah.
Hmm.
stadium can be sort of their north star. Okay, we have to
Hmm.
reach there. And what it also does is then it puts a deadline on the United squad to ensure कि अब तुम्हारे पास 5 साल है, we better lift
Hmm.
a Premier League trophy
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
again at Old Trafford. So I think that little bit of a deadline, it's not a hard deadline, it's not like दुनिया टूट जाएगी if we don't do that,
Hmm.
but it's like in your mind it'll be like okay, we are about to go from here, we have to win things now.
Hmm.
Yeah. 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 The I'll mostly Bhagya, I absolutely agree with what you had said. Couldn't have said it better. And just one thing, if you want to move forward as a club, if you want to be in that modern era, you have to not stay away, but you have to move on from that nostalgia because we
Mhm.
haven't been able to cope up with that pressure since past few years, more than a decade, and it's time to move on. And I absolutely support this new stadium, though there is a fan protest and there is always going to be people who will oppose this, but
Hmm.
kudos to the team who has designed it. And to add to that, Azman, Old Trafford, before we move on to the new stadium, whenever that will happen, deserves a big fucking title.
Yeah.
That stadium deserves one. That's all.
Yeah. My
But
my
होगा
other
कैसे
thing,
भाई?
by that I'm kind of in like in split about is that yani, I think the new stadium also you should continue calling it Old Trafford. And I know that financially that is not possible because you'll be spending 2 billion pounds to build that thing. So you'll obviously want to bring in partners who would want their name on the stadium.
Hmm.
I just feel like the Theatre of Dreams is such a iconic name that we have for Old Trafford. And I don't see the reason to like not call it Old Trafford. Maybe call it like whatever, Snapdragon Old Trafford, INEOS Old
No,
Trafford.
no,
That's
not
fine.
not not stop.
But
No,
I
not
just
that.
feel like they should continue just calling it Old Trafford because it is Old Trafford. United
People
play at
will
Old Trafford.
people will call it Old Trafford only जब तक वो नया नाम नहीं देंगे, and it to people will have to make that a habit to continue with that new name. So
Yeah.
it will take
What
time,
what do
of
you
course.
think? What do you think, Buggy, for example, about the whole naming situation around that stadium? I'm asking because it is
Hmm.
not actually easy to find a partner because Spurs ने अपना stadium बनाया. I think 3-4 years it has been, right, since
Yeah.
they moved into the new stadium. They still
Hmm.
haven't found a naming partner for that stadium, so they
Hmm.
continue to call Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they are
Uh,
actively looking for one. So it's clearly it's not sort of easy to find a partner.
I think finding a partner for United, because Manchester for a Manchester United stadium shouldn't be an issue. That is
Yeah.
one. And I
Hmm.
think, I mean, the way INEOS operates, they will definitely do everything in their power to get a naming right for the stadium because
Hmm.
they desperately need funds. ठीक है तो I would say कि यार देखो I know I don't want to sound like the anti ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड एज सच बिकॉज मैंने बोला भी है कि लाइक ठीक है उड़ा दो ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड बोला नहीं है बट वो हो रहा है तो आई एम लेटिंग इट बी एंड देन नेमिंग राइट्स चेंज कर दो बट आई थिंक आई एंड आई एम नॉट अ रैट फैन एज वेल सर जिम रैटक्लिफ फैन बट देख आई एम फुल्ली सोल्ड ऑन दैट आइडिया दैट it is only disruption that will help United go ahead
Hmm.
because we became so big that we became just static. ठीक है
Yeah.
एंड इतना स्टैटिक होने के बाद भाई यू नीड एन एक्सप्लोजन टू स्टार्ट मूविंग अहेड अगर स्टेडियम बिकॉज एंड एक और चीज मैं ये भी बोलूंगा कि भाई देख अगर तू नया स्टेडियम खड़ा करके बोलेगा भाई इसको अब ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड बोला तो मैं नहीं बोलूंगा इसको बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट
Hmm.
ओल्ड
Hmm.
ट्रैफर्ड इट इज
Yeah.
नॉट इवन ऑन द सेम इट इज नॉट इवन ऑन द सेम प्लॉट कि वो
Yeah.
रिफर्बिश होता उसको बोल देते ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड चलो ठीक है नहीं है इट इज अ डिफरेंट प्लॉट इट्स इन द सेम साइट एज सच बट नॉट एग्जैक्टली द सेम लाइक लोकेशन तो ठीक है आई मीन anything to move ahead. I think I'm just desperate to for this club to move ahead and I mean do whatever, man, but just do it because I think even juggernauts like Madrid and Barca have done it. Then
Hmm.
what is stopping United?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Devil's Arena. How about
Yeah.
Devil's Arena?
I
Sounds
Devil's
mean,
nice.
Trident. I think that Devil's Trident would
Yeah,
be
that sounds nice too.
amazing.
So
Yeah.
I was reading a blog by this football finance expert Rob Wilson, and he was saying that there is a easy opportunity for United to sign a deal that could give them around 50 to 60 million pounds per annum on naming rights. And he said that Snapdragon is quite interested because Snapdragon ने जब से हमारे साथ tie up किया है, apparently their exposure in the B2C market has increased a lot. Earlier they were mostly
Hmm.
a B2B brand, but now
hmm,
like consumers know a lot more of Snapdragon. So let's see.
यूनाइटेड का
nice.
नाम की वजह से सबका भला होता है. सो लाइक
अपना
बग्गी सेड
छोड़
सब
के.
लोग लाइन में आएंगे. हाँ, फैंस का छोड़
हम
के.
अपना ही भला दूसरों को दे दे रहे हैं